What would you do if your roommate's irrational insecurity started to poison your living situation? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. I'm a 21-year-old from the South, specifically New Orleans and Texas, where my mom runs a successful catering business. Growing up, I was always in the kitchen, frying chicken and catfish as soon as I could reach the stove, and mastering gumbo and buttermilk biscuits at a ridiculously young age. It's no surprise I'm in culinary school now. For the past year and a half, I've been sharing a rented house on the East Coast with my roommate, Mark, who is 22. We're not best friends. We just needed a place and linked up. Honestly, Mark and I have always had a pretty good roommate relationship. We watch shows, movies, and sometimes even go out for drinks. I've always found it easy to make friends, probably because of my Southern upbringing and years in customer service. I know how to talk, charm, and listen to people, even though I'm naturally more of an introvert. The only thing that ever changed our dynamic was when Mark's girlfriend, Sarah, who is 20, started coming around. They'd been together for about 6 months when she decided to stay with us for 2 weeks during a break from school. I just continued with my normal routine. That's when things started to get weird. One afternoon, I was about to mow the lawn, something I always do, when Mark suddenly stopped me and insisted he wanted to do it instead. A couple of days later, I was washing my car outside and, being polite, I asked both Mark and Sarah if they wanted me to wash theirs too. Sarah looked like she was about to agree, but Mark shot her an angry look, and they both declined. It was subtle, but I felt a strange tension. This reveals Mark's greatest fatal flaw, his deep-seated insecurity, which ultimately sealed their fate. I cook frequently at home, and I always offer some to Mark. So, naturally, whenever I cooked, I'd offer some to both of them, which seemed to infuriate him. Weeks prior, when she was over and we were all chatting, Sarah mentioned how much she loved a specific kind of cheesecake. So, I decided to bake one. Once it was ready, I sent out a group text to let everyone know they could have some. Mark got visibly upset. To me, this was just common courtesy, not overstepping any boundaries, especially since it's how I treat all guests, including Mark's parents when they visit. If a guest likes something, you make or get it for them. It's just how I was raised. The other day, Mark complained to me about how annoying it was to hear Sarah rave about how good your roommate's fresh-baked bread is. I wasn't trying to make him look bad. It's simply how I was raised. If I bake 2 loaves of bread, I leave it out for everyone in the house to eat. It felt like I couldn't even exist normally when she was around. Mark seemed okay with me feeding him, but had a problem when I offered food to Sarah, even though I wasn't cooking just for her. It makes you wonder if he was afraid I'd steal her with food, or that she was only hanging out with him because I fed her. It wasn't just the cooking. Other things that seemed to bother him included me asking if anyone needed anything from the grocery store, offering the first and best pieces of fried chicken out of the oil, changing the oil in my own car, using my smoker in the backyard for brisket, and even cutting and nailing wood in the garage for a project. Many people told me I was not the asshole. My actions were simply raising a bar he didn't want raised. He wanted to pretend he was a better partner than he actually was, and I was unintentionally highlighting what he wasn't interested in doing. He was being ridiculous. As someone from South Louisiana, I was just being polite, and my roommate was incredibly insecure. I sounded like a gracious host and a very generous person. I tend to see the good in people, so I initially struggled to see Mark as insecure. I tried to look at the situation more positively, but then, he texted me. He sent a long text detailing how I greeted Sarah too kindly and how annoying it was that I said be safe when she left the house, something I say to everyone. He even claimed it was bad that I looked her in the eyes when she was talking to me. That's when my eyes truly opened. I realized he's a pretty harmless little guy, and there's a big difference in how he lashes out at me compared to Sarah. He'd get big tough with me in texts, but only mildly upset in person. I took a step back and considered if I had provoked him. Though I don't believe being hospitable and hosting a guest is wrong, if a 75-year-old man were staying with us, I would treat him the same way I treated Sarah. While I know people outside the South might not like being called ma'am, I've never seen a lady get angry about it here. And I use terms like dear or darling, which I can see might be misconstrued as flirtatious, even though it's just how I speak. Now that he knows I've seen him in his true form, he doesn't even try to act the way he did before. I sent Sarah screenshots of his texts and told her what he'd said. I don't know if she's leaving or staying, but I've let her know I'm here if she needs any help. I don't plan on moving anytime soon. I enjoy having room for my grill and smoker, and a garage. Mark, however, told me he's looking for new places and might even go back to his parents' house. I make enough working at a restaurant to cover the rent alone, so financially, I'm not worried. This whole experience taught me that some people's insecurities can be deeply rooted and manifest in unexpected ways, but standing firm in your own values is always the best path. What would you do if your roommate's behavior escalated to this level?